Afternoon, traders. Tepdon here from BreakingOptions.com. Hope you had a good first trading day of the year. Definitely an interesting one. I don't think it's one anyone expected. We had a nice trading day in the room today, and I wanted to bring you a new series, which is going to be two for tomorrow, which will give you two trades that we like and have setups for tomorrow, and they will be two-way trades. So it could trigger to the long side, it could trigger to the short side, or it may not trigger at all. So let's get going. The two names today that we like going into tomorrow are CSX and GRWG. Okay, so let's look. What do we have in CSX, guys? Okay, CSX, just like most of the names today, sold off, got a stick save at the 55. Okay, so what will we look for? The 55 will be our pivot tomorrow. 55 is coming in at 87.45. Below the 55, we are going to want to be short using puts. The puts we will be using will be the 85 puts for next week, costing $1.05. So that's the January monthly 85 puts for $1.05. Our target will be 84.86. If we do break that level for some reason that they decide to do the correction this week or within the next 3 days, our next target would be the 100-day, which comes in at 82.85. So that is the short side of our trade, right? We have our pivot, the 55. We have our target, 84.86. We know the puts we will be using next week's 85 puts for $1.05. And just to give you your second target, it is that 100-day at 82.85. Where will I set my trigger? I will set it right there. So I will set an alert, create alert. Okay, at or below. And I leave mine on constantly because you never know when this is going to go off. Okay, I want to know at or below. I set it a little above. Well, it's 2 cents above, 87.47. This way I have time to get in, look at the trade, see if it's bouncing. And the main break will be, that's our pivot. The main break will be 87.18, and then we should see it fall off. Now we also have an upside trade in this, okay? What will be our upside pivot to enter a trade? It will be the 50-day SMA at 88.44. We don't mind giving up 44 cents. Okay, so let's set our trigger there. Create alert, at or above. Okay, 88. I like 39. This way I have a little heads up, 5 seconds to look at the trade, see what's going on. Okay, if we break through that, my first target will be the 21 EMA at 89.88. After that, we have this trend line, which I believe will break through, and we will get to 91.68. We also have something else on our side. We have what's called the gamma squeeze. If we get above 91, okay, with a little volume and a decent push, this stock has room all the way to 93. What that means is the dealers, where is 93? The dealers come in, the market makers, okay, the option specialists. There's a wall at 91, okay? And as we get above that wall, they are negative gamma. So how do they counterweight that or hedge that? They have to come in and buy the equity, which pushes it up. It will push it directly to 93. So our main target, 91.68, a little extra gamma squeeze, 93.05. Okay, that is a possibility, a very high possibility, because that's where their largest gamma lies right now. Okay, on that, we will use the 90 calls for $1.15. That's next week's 90 calls for $1.15. Okay, so we have both sides of that trade. The risk reward sets up nicely. It's greater than 3-to-1. You could check your risk reward simply by looking at the trade, looking at your targets, okay, and looking at the delta. So we see this. Last trade was 115. That's why I marked down that price. We have a 35 delta. What are we looking for? We're looking for about $3, and we're going to risk about 70 cents to make about $1.05. So not even 70 cents. I'm sorry. 60 cents will be our risk to make $1.05. You always want to make sure your risk reward is 3-2-1. So base it off the targets. Our next one, GRWG. Okay, this one's a little less liquid, so you have to be careful with your entries and be patient with your entries. We see it constantly supports at the 21, right? 21 EMA touch, 21 EMA touch, 21 EMA touch, same thing. Our trigger on this, guess what? To the downside is a break of the 21 EMA. I don't know if that's going to happen, but we want to have two ways on this trade, if we have a down day or if we have an up day. So our downside is a break of the 21. You do not want to take it short unless it actually breaks this 21, okay? If it peeks its head below for maybe 1 10-minute candle, I still would not take it short. You want it to really give it a good break because it's been such great support. Okay, so we'll set that right below the 21 because you know how sometimes it touches the 21, you get that little wick. This was actually an opening candle, but you guys know how it works. You get that little wick and then it bounces right off and you're short and get screwed. So a break below the 21 with some volume, we'd take that short and we would use next week's 35 puts for 95 cents. Our first target would be this 50, I call it the 50-50 zone, okay? That's where the 55 and the 50 meet. It's usually a magnet once it breaks. So after we break the 21, we'll have a little resistance at 35.68. Okay, $4 down. That is the practical. That's where I expect us to go directly. You have support there. That breaks, you'll probably hit what we call the 50-50 zone. Again, 55 EMA, 50 SMA. This is where you'll want to take your first piece off. Okay, and then if it bases here, you'll want to exit the puts. So would be a nice trade. You'd have about $2 in that trade. It would probably come a little below that. And it has a nice delta on that one. So you should be able to make a quick 50-60%. Now to the upside, what do we want to see? Okay, we have the 8 EMA right here, which falls at 39.64. So let's get that in here. I want to go a little below that. Great alert. 39, you know what? 48, why not? Okay, so we're creating our alert at 39.48 for the upside. Above that with some momentum, our first target on this stock is right back up to this trend line, which happens to come right into a resistance at 41.42. What happens if we get above 41.42? Guess what, guys? Same thing. We have a gamma squeeze. Again, where the dealers, the guys who write the options, the market makers, will be caught backwards gamma, negative gamma. So what do they have to do again? They have to come in and buy the equity, which is positive delta. That's the only way they can unwind that trade. What will that do? That gives us a squeeze directly to 44, believe it or not. My target's only 43 because that's the all-time high, 43.14 on that. But it does give us a squeeze where the next gamma level, meaning the next level they have to, or they're forced to come in and buy equity, the dealer, and unwind that negative gamma they have would be 44. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. I think it has nice range. Let these things trigger. We're using next week's option. Why? Let's take theta out of the equation. We have some political events going on this week. Let's not have to deal with them. Let's let the charts do the talking. So to recap this one, we will be using to the downside, the trigger, a break of the 21 EMA, the puts, next week's 35 puts, 95 cents. That's a rough estimate on these because there is a wide spread and they're not that liquid. But if you're patient, you could get filled. You will get filled. It's patience is the key on this one. Our first target is 35.68. Our second target is this 50-50 magnet, which a lot of stocks have come to. This one I'm leaning a little more bullish just because it's hit the 21, bounce, and it's been a stronger stock. The upside, when do we want to go long? Well, we want to break that ADMA. We want our alert set at 39.48. We are looking at next week's 45 calls, 75 cents, okay? What's our first target? Right at this trend line and this resistance, 41.42. Above that, we are going to get that gamma squeeze straight to 44. Dealers, it's forced buying. Trust me, I'm not the only one who knows this. There are a lot of top option traders that watch these numbers, and as soon as they see this thing get right around above that 41.42, they're going to pile on and force those deals to buy more. They'll probably squeeze it all the way to 45, but 44 is the number it squeezes to before the next set of calls come in and they can get squeezed again. Okay, so that's your wrap for today. Hope you enjoyed this. I hope these trades give you a good entry tomorrow. And if you look in the description below, you can find access to our live trading room. Have a good night.